for the literacy scholarly community, it's important to know how language and literacy practices work together, and how there aren't necessarily boundaries between languages, because in these communities they mix, they code switch as part of everyday practice. It's not something that we have to separate the languages every day, or we're going to speak Spanish or reading Spanish for particular purposes. We children bring and mix and translate in interesting ways that are not necessarily separate. And I also aim to reach literacy educators, mainstream educators with the work, so they become aware of the resources that these families possess in terms of language. I have noticed how language and literacy practices converge when parents and children choose different languages for their use of email, their use of particular online interfaces. In my current project, I'm working with home and school partnerships, and how online resources can help mediate and translate information both ways, both from the communication that goes from school to the families, to communities predominantly Latino here in Georgia, and back from parents as they try to reach, understand, or make their knowledge visible for the school and other institutions using online resources such as presentations or media, images that they produce, stories, and their own ways of storytelling and explaining how and why literacy is important in their household. And literacy practices play a key role in maintaining these affiliations, because letters are sent back and forth, emails, students and families create social networks in places like Facebook, where they have friends from their local school, but also friends and family from their countries and communities of origin. There is a lot of sharing and strategizing around resources, because they also have a need to reach and access media from the countries where they came from. And sometimes the phone is not enough. If they are able to use Skype, their need to use technology for transnational communication it's more than what you could find in a community that is not necessarily migrant. So that's part of what I want to illuminate with this work. What I'm very interested in exploring and helping build knowledge on is the unique circumstances of the Latino community in the South, the contributions they make, and the way they build relationships with institutions and with the other minority communities in their neighborhoods and their schools, especially when it comes to issues such as civil rights, organization of communities, because we live in a region where there's a very strong history of civil rights and advocacy. In other parts of the South that are more rural or more isolated, it is important to reach these communities that sometimes may be invisible or misunderstood, and that they can also gain those tools to inform themselves, to support their children, and to claim the space that they're also part of, that they can make visible their presence and their needs and their contribution to the community.